Day 9 in the desert, and we're down to the last men standing.
Oh, that is brilliant. Oh, no way. A stunning win for Ivan Lubičić. He's done it.
Welcome to the Indian Tennis Garden and the final of the first ATP Masters 1000 of 2010, with two finalists few would have predicted at the start of the week. It's 9 years since an American last triumphed on home soil. That was Andre Agassi. Croatia has never been represented in the final here, so there's a fresh feel to this encounter. And although Andy Roddick starts as a clear favourite, it would be unwise to dismiss out of hand Ivan Lubicic's chances of becoming the tournament's second oldest winner after Jimmy Connors back in 1984. Irrespective of what happens tonight, 2010 will be remembered as a year full of surprises at the Tennis Garden.
Sometimes I feel like throw my hands up in the air. I know I can count on you.
Unbelievable from Murray.
You got the love, you got the love, you got the love, you got the love.
Federer bows out again.
What an upset.
Sailing through to his first ever semi-finals of a Masters event. He's done it! A stunning win for Ivan Lubičić. Out it is, out goes Söderling, through goes Andy Roddick.
Some eyebrow-raising stories this week. Greg Rosetsky is alongside Peter Fleming tonight. Greg, before we sink our teeth into the final, must ask you about another of the week's stories, the Davis Cup captaincy, which is up for grabs, of course, in this country. What was your reaction to the news that John Lloyd had resigned?
I don't think it was a real surprise. I mean, he'd lost 5 ties in a row. You know, he'd tried his best to get the team going, but unfortunately, we have to be able to beat sides like Lithuania.
Was it his fault? Or was he just a scapegoat?
It's a tough question to answer. You know, you live and die by the players you choose. You know, also you wonder, is Andy Murray going to play? You know, if Andy Murray's there, we don't lose against Lithuania. And then after that as well, you've got to look at, okay, was it the right play to play Dan Evans? You know, he was probably going to play Baker. And then you've got to ask yourself all those questions, and you live by your choices.
It's obviously a very tough job for a number of reasons. You've made it clear in the recent past that you're interested in it. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I'm still interested in the job. You know, I've sat down this week on Friday, you know, after they made the announcement with John, Steve Martins. I sat down, had a little conversation. He said there's no rush to see who's going to get the job. They're going to take their time. They're going to look at different candidates, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
And do you think if you did get offered the job that you would be able to forge a working relationship with Andy Murray, which presumably would be crucial to the whole experiment?
Well, I think it is important, but the question is, does Andy Murray want to play for his country? That's the big question, you know. And also, you've got to think what division we're in at the moment. We're going to be playing Turkey in a relegation match to stay in the division we are right now. And what's his commitment right now? Is it about winning a slam? Is it playing Davis Cup for his country? And if you really want to play, you will play Davis Cup all the time. So if you're going to have a success in the future and get back to the World Group, obviously you need the help of Andy Murray.
When would you expect an appointment to be made?
I have no idea. There's no rush. I'm sure they'll start interviewing and talking to other people as well next week and just continue the dialogue. So just have to wait and see.
OK, that is a story we will certainly keep our eye on. As far as tonight's concerned, Peter, America expects. Do you expect Andy Roddick to deliver?
Yeah, I do. I think he's, you know, he's won more matches this year on tour than any other player. He has an unbelievable tiebreak record, 14-2 this year. And so you'd have to think that Lubičić, Roddick, there are going to be some tiebreaks in that match. Both guys have been serving unbelievably well. he just feels like a guy who's got a lot of belief, a lot of confidence, and he's riding the wave.
How surprised are you to see Ivan Lubičić in only his 4th Masters final at the age of 31?
I mean, it's a fantastic result. I mean, having beaten Djokovic this week and then coming back to beat Nadal in the semi, I mean, that's a tremendous effort from him. And as he's saying all the time, I'm relaxed, I'm enjoying my tennis, I'm not putting any pressure on myself. And you can see why this guy was a top 10 player and has gotten to the semi-finals of Grand Slam. It's all coming back, and just enjoy this time.
I just wonder if that might be the key tonight. Lubičić has been so relaxed, Peter. Roddick has been desperate to get in this Indian Wells final. He's finally done it, having been in 4 semis. Is there going to be an extra sense of expectation on his shoulders, which might just weigh him down a little bit?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, he's won Masters Series events before. Of course, both guys will be nervous to start with. I mean, that's natural. I think everybody would be nervous in the final of a Masters 1000. But I don't think it's going to hamper either of them for very long, a couple of games, maybe 4 games, and then they'll both settle in. But I think Roddick certainly has enough going for him that he's going to be able to handle the circumstances, that's for sure.
Yes, in some ways, well, we were saying last night that the stars seem to have been aligned for him. When you look at who he's had to play, great to get to the final. Jürgen Melzer, he had a 9-0 record against Robredo. He was 10-0. He's got a very good record against Lubičić as well. So perhaps destiny is with the American.
Well, also, he's playing in Indian Wells at the moment, and having beaten Sutherland, who had never beaten before, he was 0-2 before, so he's got a lot of confidence coming into this final, and he knows the crowd is going to be behind him from the first ball to the last ball, because Americans really go for their own on this sort of occasion. So you've got to just give the slight edge to Roddick at the moment. But as we can see from the last meeting, tiebreaker 7-6, 7-6. As Peter said, I agree, there's going to be a few tiebreakers, but wouldn't it be great to see the 31-year-old find a way and do it and become the first Croatian ever to win this event?
Yeah, for all of us the wrong side of 30, it would be encouraging. Roddick said after his win last night, Peter, that he was particularly pleased at the way he returned the Söderling serve. If he does that again tonight as effectively, is that going to be perhaps the decisive factor for him?
1 minute.
Well, yeah, because I think we're pretty certain that he's going to hold serve very well, as he always does. So, yeah, 1 or 2 breaks, 1 break even, is probably might just be good enough for him to win this match.
Well, it's not as bright and sunny as has been the case throughout the week. It's not as windy, thank goodness, as this time last year, though. If you remember that final between Andy Murray and Rafael Nadal, which in many ways was ruined because of the blustery conditions, but much cooler. Will that be of any significance to either player, Greg?
I don't think it'll make a difference, because both these guys serve very well. They're playing extremely well and extremely confident. The area which I think is going to be important is how's the Lubicić's forehand. That's one side that can go off on him when he's a little bit nervous. But this week he's felt it really well, moved forward exceptionally well. And Roddick, it is the backhand side, and that's the side that Lubičić is going to try to break down. So it's quite interesting on those cross-court rallies, who's going to be the more dominant there.
Did you ever get into the mental frame that he's enjoying at the moment, where he's just decided that he's done everything he wanted to do and he can now go out and relax, play for himself and just see what happens? It must be a wonderfully relaxing state of mind to be in on a tennis court.
It is. It was quite ironic. The same time for me was the age of 31. I was playing in Moscow. I had one of those weeks where I got to the finals and I just went after it, and you just relax, and that's when you play your best tennis. But that's what the difference between Roddick and the top guys. They can do that. They can relax under the immense pressure.
I know, Peter, you said last night you always had that slight anger within you, but you're nice and calm tonight. So you're going for Roddick in, what, 2 tight sets?
Yeah, I would say so. I don't know, it could go 3. I don't know. I'm not as precise as Greg.
Greg?
I'm going to go 3 sets with Roddick just squeaking it.
Okay. Let's see what happens. It has been a strange week. Will there be a twist right at the very end? Up in the commentary box, Barry Cowan and Mark Petchey.
Well, it is cool, as the guys in the studio were saying, much cooler than it has been, but a couple of players that have been on fire all week. Roddick to start.
Love 15.
Oh, yes. Lubičić making his presence felt out here.
That's what he did so well yesterday in turning that match around with Rafa. Love 40. 3 games all in the second set, having lost the first. In many ways, rolled the dice. And it worked in his favour.
And he's missed it long. Thought Lubičić had missed his chance there with the smash up the middle, but nervous moments for the Roddick camp.
See, where I'm not sure on this match, Mark, is who has more pressure. Lubičić never won a Masters title. Roddick hasn't won one for 4 years.
When you put it like that, it seems to be fairly even in the nerve state. And Lubičić unable to convert on his opening 2 break points in this game. Still has 1 remaining. Not anymore. That's a huge hole for Andy Roddick. Massive cheers here inside the stadium from this American crowd. And he negotiates his opening service game finally.
That's not easy to do. Big match, down love 40, few nerves, 5 big serves. And that really does show the real qualities of Andy Roddick. It's when he can find that big first serve.
Fourth Masters final for Ivan Lubičić. He was so excited after his win yesterday against Nadal, and so he should have been. Said it was the best tiebreaker he's ever played, that final set tiebreaker. Barris, quite an interesting sort of contest at the back of the court between these two. Neither are really wants to take it on first.
Well, don't you think they're very similar, the way they play? They've both got big serves, but in essence, from the back of the court, I know Lubičić was aggressive yesterday, but generally, they do like to rally from the back. Nadal's quotes after he lost yesterday, which he won the doubles, which I thought was a fantastic effort, but his quote was, "The defeat was an accident."
anyone else has said that, you'd think he was being rude. But when Rafa says it, you know what he meant. I was playing well enough to win. I should have won. I should have been a little more aggressive.
That's good.
He's got a nice subtlety to his play at times, Lubičić, hasn't he? I mean, you sometimes look at him and you feel as though he's a little one pace from the back of the court. We obviously talk about his serve, but he does throw in some lovely little touch shots as well. Plenty of purpose about those two forehands from Roddick.
And he's hit his forehand beautifully all week. One area that Stefanki's done a fantastic job with. Andy Roddick, that forehand, taking it earlier. So often in the past you'd see Roddick stand too far back behind the baseline, he'd let the ball drop and struggle to hit through his opponents.
Got a little tangled up there. And Lubičić squaring things up early on. 31-year-old whose birthday it was on Friday. Looking to become the second oldest tournament winner behind Jimmy Connors. Connors, who won this title back in 1984 when he was 31 years old and 5 months. Of course, Roddick, who's looking to emulate his coach, Larry Stefanki, who didn't obviously win it here at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, but won it in La Quinta back in 1985. So bragging rights for Stefanki at this event may be gone by this evening.
Well, if he still does have the bragging rights and he makes Roddick know about them, he will be gone.
It's very true. Roddick's wife, their house is up for sale back in Austin, Texas, on for 7 figures more than they paid for it. It's a nice business if you can get it. If mine was on for £7 more, that would be about a 5% increase. It's his 53rd ace of the tournament. Oh, yes. And majestic from Lubičić.
That's a world-class point. 3 unbelievable shots. Firstly from Lubičić, this angle, and then Roddick does a terrific job knocking it deep, posing the question. Two drop shots already early in the match.
So close to stealing that away, Lubičić.
That's a pretty good first volley from Roddick. That's not easy when the ball comes fast, straight at you.
That is a tremendous forehand. Length, angle, everything on that from Roddick. Pushed close once again by Lubičić. And he holds 2-1. Only major title in North America that he hasn't won yet. Andy Roddick, he said after his semi-final, I would dearly love to win it. So the motivation as high as ever for Andy Roddick. Of course, he won Miami back in 2004. He won the Canadian Masters 2003, and of course that year he also picked up the Cincinnati one as well. I don't quite understand why people come late to finals at times with drinks in their hands. It's one thing to come late because the traffic's bad, but I can assure you here the traffic isn't bad. It's a perfect place to get in and out. But missed the opening 3 games, it could be the set, especially with these two serving.
Well, they would have been in trouble a couple of weeks ago if it was in Dubai with Murray's match. Was that game? Was it 24 minutes?
Yes, they had a reason to be late. Larry Ellison, the owner of this tournament, the new owner of this tournament, of course. Ray Moore and Charlie Passerelle selling out late last year. He would have been a little disappointed yesterday, privately. Big fan of Rafael Nadal. Awkward up high there. He needed to get a lot of pace on it. It's interesting at the moment, but I don't know whether you see the same way, but it looks to me like Lubičić is expecting the ball to come cross-court from Roddick on every single shot. He's drifting there, and he's waiting for his opportunity to drive it up the line and come in.
And that was how that point developed. Roddick moving very well, as he has the whole week.
It's worked for him. Brought Lubičić in and finally battered him into submission.
Well, he started the rally by playing high and deep. He's just playing a very smart match at the moment, almost saying to Lubičić, I'm not going to feed you much pace. You're going to have to create your power. When you're facing a big server, you never know when the serve is going to be off the rhythm, if it is at all in the match. And it wasn't obviously for Lubičić yesterday, but early stage of this match, he's struggling to find a first serve. He's missed his last 7.
He's been dialing up plenty of those this week. It's his 67th of the tournament. He leads the tournament in number of aces. Oh, what a phenomenal shot. Well, Riccardo Piatti will be taking a lot of credit for that one as his coach. Lubičić does a Roddick and gets out of a game where he was trailing love 40.
We were talking earlier in the game, Mark, about Roddick prepared to just rally cross court, and that single shot could be decisive factor in Lubičić winning or not winning this final. That backhand down the line, it actually is his favourite shot.
A long road back for Ivan Lubičić. Had a lot going on in his life, and especially when he was on the ATP sort of player council. Lost a little bit of focus, he said, on his tennis. Came off that, and it's worked well for him. I believe I'm right to say he gets back inside the top 20 this week, whatever.
If he loses in the final, it'll be around about 18. And the rankings come out again tomorrow. If he wins, around about 30. That is some effort when he was 75 in June last year.
Well, him and Juan Carlos Ferrero proving that class is most definitely permanent.
Make it erotic. If he loses this, he'll be 8, and if he wins, he'll be 7.
For both these guys, it's not about rankings, it's about the trophy. Both have made strong starts here. 3-2 Roddick. Eighth visit to Indian Wells for Ivan Lubičić. First time in the championship match. We see what's been happening with his first serve, which is I put down as one of, if not the most economical actions on the tour. Barry, I don't know about you.
I'm certainly with you there.
There's just so little that can go wrong with it.
Karlovic's action is beautiful.
Fair to Lubičić about his record here in Indian Wells. It's not been that poor when you look back at his last 5 losses, and they've all come against top 4 players in the world. And Federer's had him a couple of times here, 3 times. In fact, 4th round in 05, quarters in 06, and the 4th round again in 08. Lost to Roddick here in 07, and lost to Murray in the quarterfinals last year.
First serve percentage might still be below 40%, but won 6 out of 6 on the first serve.
Not sure that that's going to be a winning strategy for him today. He's come in a couple of times, I thought, on some fairly average approach shots against Roddick, who plays with such heavy spin. He's clearly going to be picking it off his shoelaces. Roddick might want to go up there and just check if there's not a stone on the court. That way that serve kicked. That's an outrageous serve, and Roddick did so well to give himself that chance at the pass. Got a little bit too high, didn't get down, and so he could get under the ball.
I'm just wondering whether he thought that approach was going to come through the court a lot quicker, because he sort of pushed it there, Lubičić.
Well, he wasn't left in any doubt how quickly that one came through. Local Croatian supporters. Marcus will be happy there's a bit of balance in the stadium today.
Yeah.
In case you missed it yesterday, what were you doing? But anyway, Marcus was disappointed with the partisan crowd here in Indian Wells. Felt they needed a bit fairer towards Robin Soling. We had a slight disagreement. Lubičić, universally respected around the world by tennis fans.
That's twice that has happened already in the match, where Lubičić has sort of knocked the return back into court, and usually you'd see a player then take a stance behind the baseline, but Lubičić just charging in.
possibly the pivotal shot for this match, and once again Lubičić scoring with it.
And because of the simplicity of that backhand, very difficult to know when he is going to change it up and go down the line.
Well, it's what all the neutrals wanted, a real match. And that's exactly what we got. Roddick once ahead, 4-3. It's a multi-purpose stadium, but it really does come alive when the tennis is here. As you can see, virtually a full house. They've had a couple of Americans in the final since Andre Agassi beat Pete Sampras back in 2001. Mardy Fish in 2008 lost to Novak Djokovic, and of course James Blake in 2006 losing to Roger Federer. The crowd expects, can Roddick deliver?
Well, Nadal yesterday guessed a lot for that serve down the middle. Roddick hasn't done so. Still yet to win a point on Lubicic's first serve.
First Croat to reach the final here. Goran Ivanisevic managed to reach the semi-finals back in 1996. He's really reluctant to relinquish any real space today, isn't he, Lubičić? Again there, looking to try and half volley that ball. Not easy to do.
He finally gets one back into play.
Could be in, could be out. It's tough to tell from here. Yeah.
Ramadani definitely unsure.
40-30.
It's real cat and mouse in these baseline rallies, isn't it? You got the hammer with the serve from both men, but when the rallies start, both men sort of jabbing, looking for an opportunity to try and do something. Did very well, the American. Hoisted that lob up, got so much air under that ball.
Use. Lubičić.
And that's the third game of this match that's gone to juice. Nobody has been able to carve out a break just yet. He was once the best Croatian in his country, of course, when he was in the world's top 5, but Alen Cilic at the moment, inside the world's top 10, is their number 1.
15 love.
And his serve, Barrett, his percentage is just remarkable.
75% plus in this match, but through the year, coming into this event, 72% in his 18 matches. He's third on the list, ahead of him Ferrero and Nieminen. Well, you know, those two just start the point off.
Well, that was a little special. Is that the little bit of inspiration that he needs?
15 all.
Nothing really that Roddick did wrong here. Stunning pass.
Just to quickly back up what you were saying about Ferrero and Nieminen. Roddick, number 2 in terms of first serve points won on the tour this year. Karlovic as ever. Tough man to knock out that mantle. Ferrero 60th and Nieminen 63rd. Good pressure from Roddick, did the right thing, didn't hesitate.
Yeah, and that's where I feel he's improved the last year or so. Maybe in the past we might have seen him stick to the baseline, be a little reactive, but sensing the moment to take it to Lubičić. Lubičić has played a pretty good game up until that moment.
he slid it past him.
Well, as good as that pass was from Roddick, given the situation, 30-all, big point. Mental error coming to the net, I think, on that shot from Lubičić.
It was very safe, wasn't it? And it's the American who's secure on serve for a 5th time in this opening set. 5-4 Roddick. Well, he's made a good start to his first ever final here in Indian Wells, and a good start in many ways to go some way towards securing his first ever Masters title. Could have been a little daunted by the occasion, Lubičić. But both men handling it well, and the quality of tennis has been in some ways surprisingly good given the final sometimes, with so much riding on it. Both players managing to put their nerves to one side and giving this Indian Wells crowd a really good show. Lubičić though now serving a stay in this opening set.
Got to take that serve away from him. But the problem is, by maybe standing further back, it then gives the more of an angle to hit the wide serve.
You can't take that serve away. You can only admire it.
Given the way he's served all week, and he served this year, it's difficult to work out why he did drop down the rankings as far as he did. It's always much easier, I think, for a player like Ferreira to drop down the rankings when you've got to grind out a lot of your points, but it just shows that confidence, you lose it, it can affect you. Great point from Roddick, playing the score. Okay, Lubičić, what you got? I'm going to knock the ball back down the middle.
There's a tremendous change up there from Lubičić. He's challenging the call, I think, more out of frustration than anything else here, Andy Roddick.
Constance 40-30.
Second serve was good, forehand poor. Is that the pressure building on him? That is brilliant. So many parts of that point were brilliant from Roddick, but particularly for me, the returner serve. He dropped it to an immaculate length.
Advantage Roddick.
Sun a little bit in his eyes, but his eyes very much firmly set on the first set prize. Lubičić finds the first serve. Roddick almost found the perfect return.
And if that was a couple of inches high, Lubičić would not have fancied that shot.
Another serve disappearing past Roddick. There's his chance to capture this opening set in this game disappearing as well.
But he's missed 3 bad forehands in this game. Is that taking its toll? It's certainly less likely in a final, having won a lot of matches.
Easy to sit here and say you've got to take that away, but to be fair, he went wide on another big point, and just enough to keep Roddick honest. Fabulous fighting effort there from Ivan Lubičić.
And a classic example of what confidence does, that last game. You're in a bit of trouble, to not panic. Just remember your strengths, remember what you do well. And of course for Lubičić was the first serve. And then that beautiful backhand to close out that important game.
And the confidence and the ranking coming back. It's been over a year since he was in the top 20. It's relentless from both men.
And when he's serving as well as this and he plays quick, it's almost, I'm going to get my service game over as quick as possible. Over to you. Pressure on you again.
Unable to find the lob this time, Lubičić, and there you can see rapid hold for Roddick, 6-5.
6-5.
Not too much to think about for Ivan Lubičić. He is deep in thought, but I think perhaps more pensive about the situation than he is about anything else. I think tactically he's playing a smart match when he can get a racket on the ball on returns. And it's been nip and tuck to this stage. There wasn't any money placed on the fact that there'd be at least one tiebreaker in this particular contest, and that perhaps is going to be the situation after this next service game from the Croatian. He's been forced really in many ways in this match, Lubičić, to become the playmaker. Roddick quite happy to knock balls back in and sort of react to what Lubičić is doing. I'm not sure that's necessarily the role that Lubičić wants to play in those baseline rallies.
Great forehand. Two edgy forehands, the first point. Back in business with the shot. Not good enough from Roddick. Easy pickings for Lubičić.
14-15.
And there's the one that just keeps Roddick planted.
And what a time to do it as well, because he'll back himself up 40-15 to hold on to his game.
Interesting strategy there from Roddick.
It's strange because we were talking the change of ends. You know, when he was up 40-love, that was the perfect time for him to serve and volley, not the first point of a tie-break.
Really feeling pretty confident in this particular form of tennis after the wonderful one that he played yesterday against Nadal. Hadn't been doing all that well this season in tiebreakers up till then. Has now won 3, lost 4. Roddick, however, with an incredible record. 14 he's won and lost just 2. Lubičić holds his nerve. Couple of really testing lobs from the American.
And finally, Roddick did guess on that serve down the middle, made a really good return, got himself involved in the rally. A great start to the tiebreak for the Croat.
And he needed a guess, as you can see there in the background. 141 from Lubičić. Slightly more orthodox this time from Roddick behind his serve. Measured it to perfection. Once he'd made his move, Roddick, he had no choice but to keep going that way, and that ball just kept chasing him and chasing him.
He's been under a lot of pressure in this set on second serve, but he went with a little bit more heat there.
Been behind in this match all the way through this opening set, Ivan Lubičić, but changes ends ahead. He's done such a good job for the rest of the set, Roddick, and getting the ball back into play. He hasn't brought in perhaps any tangible results, but a couple there that have just drifted long.
Well, he still is behind and points won. 43 points to Roddick, 42 to Lubičić. He's played the better of the two in the tiebreak.
Well, that lineswoman had an uncanny appearance. It looked like the same lady that Serena Williams had her little outburst with last year in New York. Was it an uncanny likeness, or was that me?
Lubičić.
Gone wide.
6-3. Lubičić.
And Lubičić somehow managing to turn that point around. It was dominated by Roddick early on. Deep breath for Riccardo Piari. Lubicic's wife looking about as relaxed as she could in these circumstances. Three set points for the Croatian. The first two on it, his serve. And he seals it on the first.
7-6.
Well, it's a fabulous opening set between these two men, but it's Lubičić who takes it, 7-6.
Well, of course, India-Wales has been our home for the last 9 days or so. As from next weekend, we shift our attention to Miami. Our coverage of that Masters 1000 event begins on Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock, Sky Sports 3. Andy Murray, the men's defending champion. And he could do with a good week after his disappointment here and his problems in Dubai before that. So it's all off and running again next Saturday, such a busy part of the year, two of the biggest events on the tour. And Ivan Lubičić heading towards the big prize, having taken the first set. The first set that Andy Roddick has dropped this week. He's certainly loving tie breaks against big name opposition, isn't he? As Rafa discovered last night, he's nerveless at the moment. Playing with that wonderful sense of freedom and belief. Will even he start to lose that freedom if he gets close to the prize? Remember, it will be his first Masters 1000 title at the age of 31. Astonishing stuff. Into the second set. Back to Barry and Mark.
And straight into the groove. Defining moment in that opening set, Barry, when Roddick decided to serve and volley on the opening point of the tiebreak.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt for me. You know, when both players have been serving as well as they did do in the opening set, both impressive numbers on the first serve. I just didn't feel Roddick needed to go there.
He's been in winning positions before in Masters finals. Madrid 2005 against Rafa Nadal, up 2-0. Was up 2-0 in the final set against Nadal. So Lubičić up and running in the second set. Has he been more willing to be slightly more inventive in the rallies? Has he been willing to do a little bit more? Has he just been allowed to do more by Roddick? Because he's certainly been up to the net more.
I think first set Roddick played a really good set of tennis. I think it was phenomenal serving at the right times from Lubičić. Roddick, when he has come forward with a degree of confidence. I just think you're looking at two great servers. It can be 1 or 2 points here and there, and I feel that first point of the tiebreak just set the tone, gave the momentum for Lubičić. It's amazing how similar their stats were in the opening set. The same points won, identical, almost identical points won on first serve and second serve.
One thing that Lubičić will be well aware of is the man in the picture is never going to wilt. Wonderful competitor, Roddick.
I think that's a good point, Mark. And I think it's also important at this stage of the match to be experienced. You know, to not panic, not to think, well, I'm a set down, I've got to change my game plan.
That was in. I was very surprised that he didn't challenge that. You could see by his reaction he felt as though he hit it well. That's where the asking of the umpire at times just sort of, I think, influences your decision. You're almost trying to get two challenges for the same point, but subconsciously you feel he knew that was in. There's no doubt about that. Shaking his head up a little bit there. He'll be pleased that he's off without too much fuss in this second set on his serve. Bad news for him though. It's in the final here in IndiaWorld since 2000, the man that's won the opening set has gone on to win the title every time.
One positive note for Roddick, though, the winners, 2001 Agassi, a serial champion, 2002 and 3 Hewitt, so he'd already won a Grand Slam. 4, 5 and 6 was Federer. 2007 was Rafa. 2009 was Rafa. 2008 was Djokovic. Is that making him feel a bit better now?
That's just roll of honour here, isn't it, Indianwells?
Accuracy.
It's unreal grouping, isn't it? What would be nice is to almost have that grouping there and actually look at the distance that Roddick would have to cover once that ball's going past him on the baseline to see how wide it is and the speed and the time that he's actually got to react. I mean, it's just impossible. Would you give the edge to either man from the back of the court today?
Yeah, I would give it to Roddick. We saw that stat, didn't we? Was it about after 10 games of baseline rallies won? It was heavily in favour of the American. Again, go back to that first point of the tiebreak. That's why I thought it was a surprise that Roddick served and volleyed.
There never seems to be a rush of blood to the head for this man. Calmness personified. 2-1 Lubičić, second set. Bit of airtime on the big screen for many various fans and spectators out here. The Croatians, like the Serbians, let's bring a little bit more of a soccer atmosphere to the stadium than perhaps other nations. We're yet to see the kiss cam today, though, thankfully. Lubičić gaining a little traction in this Roddick service game. That wasn't the easiest point for Roddick after that return of serve, just dropped in.
It's always difficult for Lubičić. You're up a set, 2-1, love 15. You got a dilemma. Do you just get the ball in play, pose the question, or do you try and take charge, be aggressive? Maybe just guilty of being too passive there, Lubičić.
Space around him, Roddick found it. Interesting enough, you told me that Roddick came into the net exactly the same amount of times in that opening set as Lubičić. I never had a sense for that. I mean, he just didn't feel as though he was very effective up there when he came in.
Yeah, 14 times each.
An unsuccessful charge this time by the Croatian.
40.
Phenomenal footwork that, wasn't it, from Roddick to get around the backhand and hit the forehand. Fair to say he's made himself into a phenomenal athlete, or always had the ingredients?
I think a little bit of both, to be honest. I think he has been a good athlete and he's worked incredibly hard on becoming a better one. He's just not someone that floats around the court. I mean, he's not somebody that necessarily has that sort of Nadal slide or the Djokovic slide and that kind of thing. He's just a little bit more jerky, but yet he's nearly always in position.
When you're returning a big serve, the first point can be crucial. In Lubicic's first 3 service games of the match, Roddick won the first point. Since then, 6 service games, he's only been able to win the first point once. So it's become tougher and tougher for him to put pressure on the Croat.
He was berating himself after that first point about his second shot, Roddick. He's quite happy with just getting the first one back somehow, but feels as though his second shot not been as good. Doug Spring looking down. Dispirited. Nothing going on for Roddick in that Lubičić service game. Still no breaks in this final. 3-2. Certainly not flying quite as high as they would like. Flying all the same here. Crowd are delighted when they got here to be able to support one of their own in the final. Things haven't quite panned out the way that Roddick would have liked. It's been close. Of course, set point in that opening set. Now serving second in this second set. And he's just urging himself on there. I think he just had his one slight negative moment in the previous game, but he hasn't had too many of those this year. Leads the tour with 20 match wins coming into this final, Roddick. The 3 losses, the 1 title.
For service.
Interestingly, none of the big four in that group. Cilic second, Baghdadis and Monaco.
14.
That is a truly magnificent serve.
3 games on.
Halfway up the sideline, angled out, and well, Roddick returns the favour. The love hold from the American.
So good, so alert from Lubičić. Surprised that Roddick chipped the pass. He had time to hit it. Would take nothing away from the quality of this volley.
Mr. Roddick changing the call. Left for sideline, ball gone out. Constance. 30 love. So there's 2 changes remaining. Please already, thank you.
Now that is a good time to serve and volley.
40 love.
I can't remember him coming forward off the serve before. Just, again, put the cedar down in Roddick's mind.
Roddick does his bit and the crowd does theirs, but they're really trying to lift him out here.
Problem is, though, Petch, when you're facing a big server and he keeps rolling through his service games, you almost, in the back of your mind, think, well, I'm not going to break. So you're not actually looking for the chance.
It's almost suffocating for Roddick, isn't it, to be on the receiving end of this. 4-3 Lubičić. Roddick is getting to that crucial part of this final where he's got to make something happen out here. Easier said than done with the way that Lubičić has been serving. Robotic brilliance from the Croatian. The pressure mounting for Roddick as he aims to clinch the one major North American title that has eluded him so far. And Lubičić closing in on his first ever Masters title.
Stop. Mr. Lubičić changes the call. Right baseline, ball score good. Ball is overturned, love 15. Thirty, 15.
Turned the tables on him once again. He anticipated beautifully, and Roddick perhaps just feeling as though Lubičić was going the other way, because he certainly could have hit that forehand a lot harder.
The goal. Right baseline, ball score good.
It looked it. Certainly that was the feeling from Roddick. He posed the question, Lubičić. He hit the line with a pass, that's too good.
He was a little more testing that game than Roddick would have liked at this stage, but the result, as it has been all the way through, the same. He holds serve. And the volume increasing from this very pro-American crowd here.
He's had some tough moments in the last few years, Roddick, so when you are down at sort of a set 4-3, 15-30, 30 all on your serve, you know you can come through those moments. Back to Lubičić.
And he's found a way to get the opening point of a Lubičić service game. It's been a while.
Left service.
First double fault by either man.
Out 30.
And it's Lubičić blinking. Oh my goodness. I mean, the shot in itself is phenomenal, even if it was played at level in the opening set, but to play it now, that's heartbreaking for Roddick.
We were sort of saying a couple of games ago, Mark, it's tough when Lubičić hits such a good shot. There's no emotion.
You can't dislike him on the tennis court. There's nothing really to get at him with. Well, it doesn't mind feeding off a bit of emotion, bit of adrenaline.
Now, given the situation of the score, that's one of the shots of the week.
30.
Yeah.
Deuce.
There's no doubt that he does get a little nervous, like everybody. But that serve is that good that it masks his nerves at times. And he could do with another couple of big ones now, Lubičić. Been quite a few unforced errors in this game from Lubičić. He started it a little edgily.
Advantage, Roddick. Thank you, thank you.
He read it. Credit to Roddick for reading it, but just couldn't get it back into play.
Now, one of those break points was a set point. And like that last serve from Lubičić, he went to the forehand. And Roddick couldn't make the play.
Saw his chance, took it.
But he's got courage, Roddick. He's going to keep coming and keep coming with a belief that he will eventually get the break.
Advantage Roddick.
You take the forehand. You can go both ways, though.
I'm going to take the fifth. He wish he had another stunning serve.
Use.
The difficulty that Roddick's got, actually, if he does move over to the forehand, that Lubičić off the same ball toss could hit the three-quarter serve out wide. Kicking.
Advantage Lubičić.
Oh, he's found something a little special. And did he break a string on the shot as well?
Use.
And it's at the moment where it all changes round for Andy Roddick.
A sensational pass. Good balance. And really, actually had only one place to go in the end. That was down the line, but too difficult for Lubičić to cut the ball off.
This is where you feel as though he does have to take a bit of an educated guess. A magnificent serve again, absolutely world class. He got up so high on Roddick. Well, you can almost want something too much, can't you? And there is a sense that Lubičić, without his serve right now, would have been broken. He's definitely not timing the ball, mouth getting a little dry.
Maybe then a time two-serve volley just to change it up.
And that is why you can't go and plant yourself down the middle. May have only been about 15% of the serves have gone out there, but it's enough.
Well, I said maybe he should serve and volley, just hit cannons. It's far easier.
Grits his teeth. A gritty game by Lubičić. One game away from his first ever Masters title. dominated their opponents all week on serve, and it's the shot that has dominated proceedings today, but this would be a very opportune time for Ivan Lubičić to somehow snatch a break of serve against the American. He's always craved a title of this magnitude. He's been close before. Roddick, though, very much with intentions of thwarting the Croatians still. Yes! It's the sort of match you don't want to end here. I'd love it to continue.
Well, a great ending for Andy Roddick. And again, all credit to him. Getting a little frustrated the last game that he didn't get the break. That's understandable, but he's able to put it behind him and focus on the present. Is this match sort of encapsulating his last 3 or 4 years?
What, close? Let's hope he's not thinking about that.
But he keeps getting the test and he keeps coming through it.
And he passes that test with ease. He certainly should be admired for his resilience on a tennis court, Andy Roddick. He's had to take a few knocks. Of course, he's had a lot of success. He's made a lot of money out of the game, but he's been high profile in the States. They wanted him to capture more major titles, and he's never moaned about it. Maybe, just maybe, this will be his year still.
He took pace off that first serve, and maybe he's starting to realise that Roddick is edging over to that middle. But Lacazette will speak from experience to try and outwit a great server. So many times that Agassi just couldn't find his way through Sampras.
Roddick guessed, you could see, had that gone in, he was going in the wrong direction. He's left it all on the court, as he always does, Andy Roddick, but it may not be enough today.
Well, again, full credit to him. Intelligent play. Roddick's trying to do something different, stand further back. So what does he do? He's serving volleys.
No blemish on that service game for Ivan Lubičić. Once again, it looks as though the inevitable tiebreak looms. 6-5. Lubičić may well end up bookending this tournament with a couple of Americans, because he started out en route against Ryan Harrison, the wild card, who it would seem anyway this year is starting to make some big strides towards the top of the game. A lot of talk about Ryan Harrison, and generally when it's an American and they're talking about it as much as that, they come through. It has to be said, Donald Young didn't make it, so you can't always say that's going to be the case, but certainly he seems to be starting to play fairly nicely. Pushed Lubičić to a second set tiebreak. That looks like to be where we're heading. Oh, did awfully well there, didn't he, Roddick? I mean, he had to hit that with plenty of height, the right pace, so they had a chance of recovering. Dealt with that low ball particularly well today.
13 now.
Christine Taylor, Ben Stiller's wife, who's I think almost been here for every match, hasn't she?
Mr. Lubičić at the goal, left near side, ball is gone out.
We were praising Roddick on serve in the opening set. The second set, 6 service games. He's lost 4 points.
Okay. Roddick. 6 games on. Second set tiebreak.
So here we are. It's all on the line for both of them. So much still at stake.
Each player receives 1 additional challenge.
Back to the old faithful.
Hit for service.
No venturing to net on his first service point of this tiebreaker.
1-0.
Lubičić makes the first move. And once again, it's a move into the net by the American that proves to be his undoing.
Well, Lubičić was waiting for this play. He'll always back himself with that beautiful one-hander on the pass.
2-1.
Roddick not doing a bad job here of defending the situation, but it was futile in the end. Another one of those diagonal daggers through Roddick's heart. American unable to take a point against Lubicic's serve in that opening set tiebreak. That cannot be a similar scenario for the American, otherwise he's going to be the runner-up. His 20th and 21st aces of the match.
4-1, Lubičić.
And here in the desert, it is an oasis. It's the finishing line appearing for Ivan Lubičić. The Americans hoped very much, though, on the line. That's a disastrous miss for Andy Roddick, but the pressure's been mounting on him. Unable once again to make an impression in the tiebreak. And Lubičić won't be in any rush to get to the other side. On the verge of becoming the second oldest winner of this event.
Well, you can only think with a shot like that, he's just gearing his mindset towards the two serves that he has. I bet he hopes he doesn't regret that drop shot.
Just gone long. Well, it's been some journey for Ivan Lubičić in life, let alone just in tennis, from leaving worn-torn Bosnia at the age of 13, rising up the rankings. And to be honest, there are many of us who thought that the story was over for the Croatian, but it looks as though he's just about to write another chapter. 4 championship points.
Thank you.
Just his second double fault. And he'd be lying if he said that tension wasn't the sole reason that contributed to that second serve. He's hit some big second serves, don't get me wrong, but they've generally been with a bit of spin on them. A reprieve for Roddick.
Change stop. Mr. Luigi changes the call. Left service line, ball score good.
Well, this would be some way, wouldn't it? A fairly dramatic way to clinch your first ever Masters title. It's not to be.
Ball stands. 6-4.
Two championship points have come and gone.
Thank you.
As does a third. Roddick finds a first serve. A real sense of belief in the stadium that Andy Roddick could still turn this match around.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fourth championship point. It's not to be. The Croatian is crowned champion here in Indian-Wells. What a phenomenal performance from Ivan Lubičić. Once again, the serve dominating proceedings out here. But it was so much more than that as well. 31 years of age, he can barely believe it. There's not a lot of emotion from Lubičić during the course of the match, but you can see what it means to him. His wife, Ida, his coach, his long time coach as well. He's shown phenomenal loyalty to Riccardo Piatti, and it has been fully repaid here by Lubičić. What a moment.
Your heart bleeds for Andy Roddick. So often the nearly man. He did everything right, played a really good match, but Lubičić has been inspired at times. During the week, when in trouble, he rolled the dice. The shots came off for him. It's his day. Let's hope that Roddick will be back. I'm sure he will.
Well, time stands still for no man, but Ivan Lubičić has put the clock on hold this week, hasn't he? It's the first time he's beaten three top tenors in the same tournament, and he becomes the oldest first-time winner of a Masters 1000 title. Cedric Pierlin previously had that distinction. He was 2 months short of his 31st birthday when he won Monte Carlo back in 2000. But here we have Luby at the right old age of 31 years and 2 days, with his 10th title in all and the biggest of his career. And who would have thought it? He was 80-1 midway through the week. I think over 100-1 at the start of it. But he's done it. Peter Fleming, Greg Rosetsky alongside me. Wow. Huge disappointment from an American perspective, but what an achievement from the Croatian.
Oh, fantastic. To win your first Masters Series title at 31 years of age and become the oldest man to do so. Incredible week. Djokovic, Nadal, now Roddick, sensational. And it's good for the old boys to win one.
Well, it certainly is, but it's not going to feel too good for Andy Roddick at the moment, Peter, is it?
Well, no. He didn't really play as well as he would have liked. I think he had some chances. He looked just a little skittish, maybe, just didn't settle into the match. I mean, of course, it's difficult to do that when you've got a guy serving bombs at you, left, right, and center. But, really, I think the match, the story of the match was how superb Lubičić was. I mean, let's not forget he beat Nadal and Djokovic on the way to the final, so it's not like he was, lucking his way through.
He told us last night he wasn't altogether surprised at the way he's been playing. He said that in Dubai there were clear signs. He nearly beat Djokovic then. But are you genuinely surprised to see him doing what he's doing at this late stage in his career?
Well, last year was such an odd year for him. You didn't expect him to reach these heights again. Back in the top 20, playing good tennis again. Fantastic to see sort of the old school tennis. Big serving, coming to the net once in a while. So good to see and well done.
Yeah, it was old style tennis. It was like being back in the mid-1990s again, wasn't it? With those big serves booming down. But there was more to that. I mean, he's got that relaxed air about him, Peter, that he's been speaking about all week. Is that the key? Do you think that's made the difference for him at the moment?
Totally, yeah. I mean, relaxation is well, the only way really that you can get into that zone, you know, and he's found it. He's refound it, and it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain this sort of level or if it's just something magical in the air.
Let's look back through the key moments of the match. It was dramatic from the word go. Break points to be saved in the first game, Greg.
I know, triple break point, and Ruddock comes up with the big serve that got him out of trouble the first game. Then Lubičić says, I can do the same when I'm down triple break point, and that's where he was just better than Ruddock today, those break points saving them. And this is the trademark shot from Lubičić, which is sensational. Watch this backhand. I don't think anybody in the world hits that one-hander as good as this guy. I mean, that is sensational. But like here you see Ruddock, he's moving the ball around here, coming forward. This is the improvement that Stefanki has on him, trying to get him forward a little bit more. And that's an area he's starting to implement in his game a lot better. But this is what impressed me from Luby, being able to change the court from defense there and all of a sudden being able to step it up and get offensive. And this was a big point in tiebreaker. 2-love up, Ruddock hustling around, you know, calm on the smash. That takes a lot of confidence and to be very relaxed to deal with that. Ruddock hustling again. This is not easy with the wind swirling, high ball. Just very calm and controlled, what you'd expect from the top man. But this play used also very well. Look at this. This is a man who's very confident to be able to hit this shot against Ruddock. You know, little dropper, bring him forward. Ruddock isn't the most comfortable guy there, and that closes that first set. And that was that little bit of class in taking those chances. And then early on in the second set, Lubičić chose that back, and that was sensational. Love 30. Had he not made that shot, Ruddock's back in the match here. And this game was key. This was the game that went over 11 minutes. And look, Ruddock's trying everything. And this is sensational. I mean, that was a shot of the match today from Ruddock, that backhand up the line. Both guys showing they have that shot really, really well. Then you see here, look at the defense again. I mean, getting it back from Lubičić here, just finding a way to get himself back in point. For a guy of 31, he still moves exceptionally well. I mean, he's physically very, very strong. And just being comfortable to stay with it, bringing Ruddock forward again. But look at the feel from Ruddock there to create that dink little angle. So the match isn't really over here. But then right here, little serve and volley, easy little touch here. Lovely feeling. He's just having it all working. That's that relaxation we were talking about again. But this is the big point here in tiebreaker. 1-all. Good passing shot here again. Very calm, very controlled. And from there on in, he really cruised in that tiebreaker. And this is what he's worked for the last years to get to this match point. And look at the joy in the man. There'll be nobody happier tonight than Ivan Lubičić.
And there would have been relief then because 3 match points had come and gone. He'd made an interesting call to Hawkeye as well. It just looked like he was getting a little scramble towards the finishing line.
I think he was very relieved when that first serve went in. Had it been a second serve, it could have been nervy. You know, double fault, then Hawkeye, then a bad unforced error. So great to get through.
Huge disappointment, of course, for Andy Roddick, who finally got through to his first final. Have you seen enough from him this week, though, Peter, to feel that he could have a lot of good things ahead of him in 2010?
Well, I think so. Does he appear as though he's playing well enough to burst into the top 5 again? I don't think I see that yet, but you know, on his day, he's always going to trouble people.
And a final brief point, Greg, it wasn't a great week for Andy Murray. Do you think he'll be back to his best in time to defend his title in Miami next week?
Well, I hope so. He's got a few days off, so hopefully he can recover. I'd like to see him a little bit more positive on the court, upbeat, because he's such a fantastic player.
Okay, well, it's been interesting tonight. Greg, Peter, thank you very much indeed for your company. It's been an interesting week all along. You just couldn't predict what was going to come next. We know what's coming next as far as our live tennis is concerned. Few days off, and then it is Miami that gets underway from 3 o'clock next Saturday afternoon on Sky Sports 3. No Juan Martin Del Potro, no Nikolai Davydenko, but the other big guns will be there. A lot of them looking to make amends after their disappointment in Indian Wells. Lubičić has proved there's still plenty in his locker. Bye for now.
Sometimes I feel like throw my hands up in the air. I know I can count on you. You got the love, you got the love, you got the love.
Unbelievable from Murray.
You got the love, you got the love, you got the love. You got the love.
Federer bows out again.
What an upset.
Sailing through to his first ever semi-finals of a Masters event.
He's done it. A stunning win for Ivan Lubičić.
Out it is, out goes Söderling, through goes Andy Roddick.